and welcome back to the IWAR Network TUBECAST. I'm your host, and NWL and IWL Commissioner Alex G. Along with me, as always, IWAR Commissioner Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
Playing hurt.
Still?
Fighting through the pain.
Very nice, very nice. Stop being a weirdo. So tonight's episode will be the November cycle in review. Now we're going to start off with the BRL. The league champion, urban model Aisha Diaz. It sounds like this girl that was a teen mom when I went to school. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. TV champion, punk rock Mike Atlantic, Vicious, Vincent Payne, Central, Colonel Dirk Vanderback, Dixie Superstar Rick Riley, Eastern 5% Spanish Matt Rodriguez, Mountain Eric Endgame, Northern Canadian Hammer Gunnar Molson, Pacific Captain Gristle Hackback, Prairie Sir Gunter Kinderwatt, Southern Bruiser Brett Brown, Western Product of Arrogance number 2, Tag Team, Agent 26 and Punk Rock Mike, TV Tag Team, Elijah the Mountain Man and Willie the Woodsman,
Yay.
6-Man Product of Arrogance 1 and 2, and Classy Eddie DeGrassi, TV 6-Man, the Bagman Jimmy Henchman, Roughneck Nicky Rocks, and Mr. 187 Tony Dime. So Matt, what's going down in the BRL?
Well, you have to be down or get beat down.
That's what I hear.
Yes. So, well, we had another cycle, our third cycle of the title challenges. So we had some excitement. Sir Gunter and Punk Rock Mike. Sir Gunter was trying to regain the global championship. Punk Rock Mike held on to win with a 4-point win.
Nice.
It was impressive. Real tight series. And then the Global Tag Championship, Blood Money was upset by the Elite Mutiny Corps, Private McRock, and Colonel Slate Vanderside. This guy must have been on a really evil kick with names. So they upset Blood Money to take the titles, so they will move on. Then, let's see here. The Intercontinental Championship, Gunnar Molson defeated Zach James. It was actually tied going to the third round, so it was very close.
Nice.
And then Gunnar was also facing Fatty the Butcher, and it looked bad for Gunnar after Fatty had a huge second-round win with an 8-point win. And I thought, oh, man, Fatty's going to win the Canadian belt. I was already getting ideas for Fatty to bleed all over the belt. Wouldn't you know it, Gunnar rallies, wins by 5, and ends up winning the series by 1 point. So there you have it.
Unbelievable.
Now, next round challengers go. The global title, Punk Rock Mike will defend against new BRL star, and I think he's really getting up there and wins. Where is he? Yeah, he's 85-0. 85-0. Gran Sabrosa. So
the Three Birds, yes.
The three birds. He also had the 496.3 highest strat over the last 3 cycles. Once again, if you're not aware, the way we rank people in the BRL for their strategies is by the last 3 cycles of performance. So he had a 496.3. Moving down the line, the Intercontinental Championship will be defended against Mr. 187 Tony Dime, rocking the 494.7, which is also what Fatty was rocking, but Fatty just had a title shot, so he gets bumped down. And he had a tie with Steve Stryker, but he had a higher recent average, so he won the tie break. So there's your next challengers for that. Next challenger for the Canadian title is Superstar Rick Riley, who I was kind of surprised because he was not doing well.
Well, I was on Luther Alexander was on the precipice for a while of getting a title shot, and then he shit the bed this cycle. And
now he's number 5 for the IC belt. So,
yeah.
So it's an interesting thing is you can really flow up and down, but it's who is ranked at the 1, 11, and 21 spots after 3 cycles. And then the next challengers for the global tag will be the Moonshiners, who had a 511.3 average strat. So tight competition.
Absolutely. It's hot and heavy over in the BRL currently.
It sure is. And we will say we also had the BRL just had some of the draft talent got over there or is coming over. But an unexpected arrival was the End Games and Vincent Payne.
Yeah, they forego an opportunity to be the number one contender for the IWL Tag Team Championship, and they left in the middle of the 4-pack challenge to join the BRL.
Yep. Unexpected, unpredictable.
Yes. Fantastic. So next up is the CWL Unified Craven Streaming Media Constantine United States Norman Spivey Yukon Power Jack Caribbean Prince of Pain Amazon Basin Sadistic Steve Supreme British Isles Problem Child Arabian Fergus Brennan South African Darius T. Roughshod Siberian Clark Pierpont East Asian The Evil Being Oceanic Railroad Warrior Hammer Unified Tag Team Milton Snodgebuster and Pokey McSnap. The Streaming Media Tag Team Doug Gavilon and Good Guy Gordy Goodwood. Unified 6-man Railroad Warrior Hammer Ty and Spike. Streaming Media 6-man Forgotten Vagrant Wildcard Garrett Shadowstar and the Tyrants David Hammerhead. So Matt, what's going down in the CWL?
Well, there's a lot going on. It's actually kind of a transition time right now.
Yes.
Which is good. As you know, the players have been listening for a while. CWL had a little shakeup as far as, I guess, amount of workload coming into this. So it's kind of everyone's getting a chance to kind of reboot. But there's still some feuds going on. Harry Hoodstar just demolished poor Alec Von Schnapp. So
Unbelievable. I saw that and my heart goes out to him.
Yeah, poor Alec. Poor guy. I mean, John Body beat him up. Then, I feel really bad for Harry Hoodstar for hiding in a trunk, but that's another story. Steve Supreme and Barry Stevens renewing their old feud. That's going to be fun. But there's a lot of talent that's coming in. I'm looking forward to it. We'll discuss that talent a lot more on our next episode, the IWAR Draft Special.
Yes. Fantastic. I currently do not have a wrestler in the CWL.
Oh, my God.
And Shea Guerrero was drafted out.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I'll be back at some point. So next up is the IWL League Champion Crazy Carl, Television Champion Van Death Valen, New York City Champion Isaac Slaughter, Los Angeles The Shadow Tony Lowen, Boston Steve the Hitman Chambers, Detroit Crimson Grim, Cleveland Rowdy Resigini, Dallas the African Pitbull Dakar Wolof, Memphis Blackjack Robinson, Miami Mike Mason, San Francisco Craven Cross, Chicago Senior Lucha, Tag Team Van Death Valen and The Shadow Tony Lowen, TV Tag Team John Slaughter and Isaac Slaughter, 6-man John Slaughter, Isaac Slaughter, and the magnificent Black De Niro. And then TV 6-man Phantom Striker Van Death Valen and The Shadow Tony Lowen. So, Matt, what's going down in the IWL?
Well, there's a lot going on here. Noble House arrived, and the Slaughter Brothers and Dakar Wolof. So, looking forward to seeing what they bring. Crimson Grim back on the title page, same with Rowdy. Crazy Carl, good to see him pull off the victory.
Yes, I'm very, very happy for him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that he's been around for a while. He's doing a good job, and it's good to see him win. I have my fresh bulletin right here. I think this thing that stood out to me was the IWA not censoring a certain sneak attack by Jim Spur.
Unbelievable.
They don't always censor things out, but sometimes they do, and that was just for those who are listening, Jim Spur has been feuding with Scotty Flash. They had a tag partnership, then Scotty won the tag titles with Creed Michaels, and Spur felt slighted, turned on Scotty. He's been after him ever since. Scotty had a couple of good matches, but then Spur wanted the outhouse. He wanted the outhouse championship match, whatever it was. I don't know, some bizarre match, and he won it. But that wasn't enough. Spur wanted more, so he ended up attacking Flash, handcuffing him to the top rope, and then pile driving his valet through a table. So we wish Fire all the best. Speedy recovery. Also of note was I think Creed Michaels had probably, I think, one of the best promos I've seen in a long time. Really well done.
He's back in full force.
Yeah, I mean, he was kind of like quoting here and there, a little bit here or there, but man, that was a good, like, a 2-pager and still a very strong promo.
Yeah.
Some promos are like, oh man, that second page. Whew.
And they killed poor Ghetto Master Jr.
Yeah.
Bless his heart.
Poor guy.
Yeah, that's the end of him. Oh well.
But yeah, I like it. IWL is a fun league. I always say it really is, and there's a lot going on there. So more to come.
Yeah, I mean, they're starting to really come into their own, especially with the addition of Noble House, which I'm very happy to get. And I think, going forward here, I mean, we have Revolution Extreme causing all types of shenanigans and tomfoolery. And with the addition of John Body, I think that's going to really stir the pot in the IWL. Again, what we see here, and for those of you who are interested in commissioning a league in the future, I recently had taken over this league, and I think in a couple of cycles, I think we changed the overall tone of the league very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Especially with the characters that are now here. So I'm real happy for that. There's plenty of space in the IWL if anyone's interested in coming. I think it's going to be really fun. We have Soul Survivor coming up, Cycle 64. It's going to be a $1 entry fee. Not only will you get a shot at the IWL Heavyweight Championship, not only will you receive IWA credit, but you will receive a real championship belt, just like the ones they get for winning the world title. So,
wow.
So definitely make sure that you enter all your wrestlers in this event. I'm hoping for 50. Is my goal, but we'll see how far we get.
Yeah.
In addition, we do have the 4-pack challenge. Again, that's going to determine the new number 1 contender for the IWL Tag Team Championship, currently held by the Regulators. They've held the belts for an extreme amount of time at this point. So for Soul Survivor 2016, the matches that are coming up on this pay-per-view, which is, again, Cycle 64, matches we played in 63. We have Creed Michaels versus Great Dave for the IWL Heavyweight Championship. We have Ali Atari versus Koenig, if it goes to 3 matches. Now, as of right now, Koenig is up 1-0 on Ali Atari in the Best of 3 series to crown a new champion for the vacant American Territory Championship. But if it goes to the 3rd match, it'll be on the pay-per-view.
Yay.
IWL Heavyweight Tag Team Championship, the Regulators versus Blackjack Robinson, Triple X, Xavier Jimenez. And then a War Games match, Empire Chaos taking on Revolution Extreme. And then, of course, the Soul Survivor match itself. So I think it's going to be pretty sweet. In addition, we had the Chicago Cup this cycle. The winner of this cycle's Battle Royal, which was Isaac Slaughter, received $108,000 in iCash to kind of commemorate and celebrate the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. So I thought that was a pretty sweet incentive. Again, it wasn't a contest. It was just a little extra for the guys currently in the IWL. And you'll see all kinds of stuff like that in the future as well as we move through the process. So next up is the NWL. League champion, Killer Clown. TV, Marcus, the Monster Monroe. Atlantic, Mike Smalley. Central, the Patriot. Dixie, Big Blank, number 1. Eastern, Alpha Male, XD. Mountain, Doctor, Victory. Northern, Big Yellow. Pacific, the Untamed Iron Bull. Prairie, the Unnatural, Vic Villain. Southern, Jerome, the Bone Smitty. Western, Piper, the Goofball Monroe. Tag Team, Bombshell Warrior and the Patriot. TV Tag Team, B.A. Fox and Killer Clown. 6-man, Dr. Victory, Dr. Eras, and Bullman. And TV 6-man, Mark Malice, Johnny Vegas, and Vic Villain. So, Matt, what's going down in the NWL?
Well, I was happy to see Killer Clown retain. That made the Wrestler of the Year race that much tighter.
They're even, right? Are they dead? Is that dead even now?
It almost. Big Blank number one took a regional, so he now has one on 155 to 150 by Killer Clown.
Oh boy.
So it could go either way, and it's still there's an outside shot by a third party. So we'll see what happens. McFleece might do something good. Johnny Vegas could pull something off. You never know. He's really good. But it's happy to see that. I have a feeling that no matter what, we're going to have a new single-season record for most points earned by a wrestler in the NWL. So that's exciting.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier. I was talking to Andy and some other players asking a lot of information about the rookies in the NWL. Who are the best rookies? Well, I think it's pretty easy to see. I mean, the last 3 cycles, you've had 2 Metropolitan champions, and then one of the NWL players won the Jade Federation. So it's good to see the guys doing very well, because I know it can be a frustrating game when you're not doing well and you feel like you're doing what you can. So again, hit us up for advice. We're happy to help. Keep trying.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things are going on. Well, there's Seasons Beatings is around the corner. Perhaps you should talk about that.
Yeah. So Season Beatings is our next pay-per-view. That'll be taking place during the holiday cycle. Main event is Rock Simpson versus Killer Clown. There'll be other matches being announced shortly. I know the guys are working hard on getting some of these angles over so we can get some of the matches in for Seasons Beatings. In addition, in the opening match, we will have Black Belt Jones taking on Luther Alexander, and they're going to open the show. Now, the show will be taking place in Moscow, Russia, just because Luther Alexander is a jerk, and he doesn't want any of the wrestlers in the NWO spending Christmas with their families. He wants them to spend it with him in Russia, because he's a dick. So a little innovative thing that we are testing on the IWAR Network Facebook page. When I was a kid in like 7th grade English class, they did a thing where they would tell a story, and then the story would go around the room, which each student would be adding a piece of the story. So you get like these fun kind of stories that went weird and had all these twists and turns. We're going to do that live on the page, and I got to figure out a date and time, but it'll probably be like on a Sunday night. And everyone will have an opportunity to write a piece of the Luther Alexander versus Black Belt Jones match. And I mentioned this on the page itself. Like, this is a Luther Alexander match, so don't worry about, don't take it super serious. Have fun with it, because his matches are completely ridiculous anyway. Like when he super kicked the horse, or when he threw Terrible Ted, the wrestling bear, into the water with the piranhas and electric eels. So his matches tend to be a lot of fun to write. We're gonna have fun with that, and we'll see if we can pull that off, because that, if we can pull that off the way that I'm hoping we can, that opens the doors for so much things down the road in terms of interactivity for the IWAR network and having some really good some fun. So I'm real excited about that. I think overall the TT for the NWO was exceptional. Again, I think it's on par with any veteran league that's out there. I would put it up against anyone trash talk, including the BRL, IWL, CWL, and even some of the other leagues. Again, we do look at a bunch of the other leagues when we do the non-hour league reviews, and I would put up NWLs against anybody's at this point. Yeah,
the cast there is really strong, and when we talk about the IWAR Draft Special, we'll highlight some of those players.
Yeah. You know what it is, and we'll probably do another show on being a commissioner, is like, I try really hard not to say no to whatever these guys want to do, because I don't want to stifle any creativity. What I try to do when people send me stuff or they ask me questions, I just try to navigate it to fit the overall narrative of the league. Their ideas are theirs. I rarely say no. It's like, hey, I want to do this, that, and that. I'm like, go for it.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm not trying to fit them in a box or put them in a bubble, kind of restrict them because I have a certain vision for the league. Very similar to the way I'm going to run the IWL. It's kind of like balls to the wall. Let's do it. Let's do it. You got an idea? Let's do it. Pull it off. I can help you with the logistics, but let's do it. So that's the way I run these leagues. And I think creatively, at this point, I mean, they're at an all-time size. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. And one thing, too, is I've had people say to me, like, oh, well, aren't you worried about the league? And, back when we had
never
classes, it replaces. People come and go. And I think right now, for example, like, the Monroes are probably going to be the next group to go. Johnny Vegas and his crew, people will step up. Someone will step up and grab that ring, and then you're gonna have Aaron McFleece and his crew, Winston Smith.
And a lot of you guys still have a while to go too. Let's not forget that.
Well, Billy Jack Novak's still around.
Yeah.
Black Belt Jones.
Yep.
John Campbell, who's awesome at TT. I wish his moves matched his TT. Hopefully it'll pick up. But, it's, we get replenishment. And it varies. There's times when, we get lots of wrestlers in. Other times we don't. It'll happen. I'm not worried about it. And if that's the case, then we'll just wait it out, and see somebody pop in. Mike Smalley, shout out to Mike Smalley, took the IWA Wide Atlantic.
I'd like to talk to this gentleman.
Yeah, he sends in some really bizarre pictures.
This is offbeat.
I don't know if it's him or not. I'm going to go
in the picture.
Yes, because when we had Rowdy Restaghini and Rude Duty in here, and Rowdy won the world title, I was like, dude, I'm going to put Rowdy on the cover of the IWAR. I said, send me a picture. And he sent me a picture. Rowdy was based on a friend of his, and every picture he had a beer can in it. He drinks a lot. I'm like, all right, whatever. Yeah, so there's going to be some change, but that's what happens,
We never had an issue. I've lost players on a consistent basis all the time. I always get the panic message or email. You're losing so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. What are you going to do? Oh, you lost to DOD and you lost these guys and you lost this guy. I'm like, dude, we're fine.
Right.
And have been fine all the time. That's the one thing about the NWL, It only takes 2 or 3 good T-tiers and good players to come in, and then we're right back in the game. And, even our cards don't even dip that much. I think last cycle we had 1,400 matches, which is a lot. But even that we've never really dipped below, I think, 1,200 matches at any point. And it's huge. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Right.
So I'm very excited about what the future brings, and it keeps you on your toes in terms of the commission because you know how the league works and it rotates out. In addition, we had Black Belt Jones win the national championship from Killer Clown.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what happened there.
So. Yeah, so lots of shenanigans and tomfoolery, and Luther Alexander will be making an announcement regarding the national championship and what's going to happen going forward. It seemed like there was some interference with Rock Simpson, cost Killer Clown the championship belt. So Luther has a decision to make, and we'll see what his decision is very, very soon.
Cool.
So, Matt, any IWAR wide news you want to talk about before we call it quits?
Well, quick last-minute BRL thing is that Battlecade pay-per-view. The matches going in will be this coming cycle. The write-up will be the cycle after that, the holiday issue.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Don't forget you have that Luther Alexander versus Jane the Vixen Red hair versus hair match.
Yes, very excited for that.
I kind of want to lose it, to be completely honest, because I have this vision of Luther wearing a wig all the time and getting pulled off his head. But we'll see how it goes.
Yes. Also in the works is the end-of-year awards in the works. So what's happening now is we're asking players to submit their nominees. So if you want to be involved, and what you do is you nominate the wrestlers you feel deserve recognition or could be in the running for certain awards. So it's like wrestler, tag team, 6-man, rookie. Those are all determined by points. We have categories like popular, hated, inspirational, manager, match of the year, feud of the year, non-wrestler of the year. So like if it's an announcer or an interviewer or a manager, that's sort of not a wrestler, but a peripheral character. You can suggest them.
NPC, as I call them.
Yes, NPCs. And then finally, the moment of the year, which can be anything. It could be the moment you read something and you just laughed your ass off, or you're like, holy shit, whatever it may be, moment of the year. It's a way to kind of celebrate things that have happened. And we've had a couple of doozies, so it's always fun to recognize that. So what we'll do is we'll have SurveyMonkey. It's an online service you can create surveys for. I've actually already started loading them up with the different nominees. So what will happen is as soon as we have those finalized, which will probably be by the next issue, we'll put the actual voting address online, as well as the website, and I'll email it to the players or on that way as a way to get them involved. And it really will be a way to help, make the game fun. Then what happens is we collect the nomination of the votes. And then in the January issue, we actually post, it'll be the January or February, depending on timelines. we post the results. And that'll be fun. It'll be a way to like say, hey, here's winners. It's a good way to recognize the effort by players and kind of reflect back on the year. And this coming issue of the next IWAR issue, IWAR Ringside Magazine, there was a 4-page look back at the past 4 years of IWAR awards. So it used to be the Gold Rush Report, then it was the IWAR Revolution, now it's the IWAR Ringside, but it's still the same event, if you will, same core. So
there's no reason why I shouldn't win all these awards.
That's right.
To be completely honest, and if I don't, I'm gonna be very upset.
Yeah, you can campaign, lobby. I look forward to it. So it'll be fun.
Alrighty, all right, fantastic. So in closing, we're gonna hear about Matt's master plan to take over the IWA.
Oh, not this time. Next time.
Oh, sad face. Yeah, I like your toilet Kool-Aid. That tastes pretty good. It's grape flavored, by the way. So we are officially out of time. So for Matt Riley, I'm Alex G. Have a good